How's it going, everybody? Happy Friday or Wednesday, however we want to frame this day today. Um, yeah, I wasn't able to do my Wednesday comics on Wednesday, but a lot of books came in that I wanted to pick up or that I did pick up. And then I have a little story of I was out of town the weekend leading up to this week. And so got to visit a couple comic book places in the town that I was in, which was really cool. And I'll show you guys some stuff that I got there too. So it was a lot that like got jam packed as far as comics for this week. But then on Wednesday, or I knew at the beginning of the week actually, that I had a deadline to hit by this week for work. So I was like, oh, I cannot do this stream. I mean, I could on Wednesday, but it would have been pretty bad as far as work wise. So I had to put aside my love and my passion and my heart for my Wednesday comics and get the work done. But I did want to try and get a stream in today, so I got a little bit of time now, and here we are. Like, it was either going to happen yesterday or today, and yesterday was still kind of full of the deadline and just life stuff. So today I was like trying to find the Tetris block of time that I could fit this, and now it's now. So welcome to my channel. Welcome to my Wednesday comics on Friday. I'm not going to relabel it anyway visually, or else that will get so confusing for my channel page. And actually on the thumbnail, I put the date of this Wednesday on the thumbnail instead of the date of today, Friday, just to be consistent. Maybe it's the OCD in me, but I feel like if somebody were to look at the thumbnail and then double check it on the date and be like, that's not a Wednesday, that's a Friday, then the universe would unravel at that point. So the thumbnail for today, the title for today's stream is My Wednesday Comics July 10th, even though we're streaming on July 12th. So that's why all the conversation of, are we time traveling today, came up early in the chat before the stream started. From Katie. What's up, Katie? How are you doing? How's the UK? Are you settling into the oncoming weekend? I mean, I guess that's a good thing of having today's My Wednesday Comics on a Friday is we get the weekend right after. So how about that? How's that for a bonus gift? How do you feel about that, emo trash? Having Wednesday on a Friday today? Yes, we are. And speaking of emo trash, I did not get to any new sound effects. Sorry. Because of the deadline and because of something else I was working on, which I will show you guys. Just too many things on my plate. But emo trash, you're definitely on my list of sound effects to get to. So don't worry. Don't fret. It'll happen. However, this guy, let me get it set up first. This guy I'm ready for. What's up?
This is a cranberry full of power.
Full of power. Cranberry Landers, what's up, man? In the house. And I did listen back to some previous streams, and I do feel like there is an echo with the sound effects. So I got to double check my settings sometime when I'm not streaming, if I can remember to do it. Double check my settings of how my audio is looping into my mic, because there is an echo coming in through the sound effects, and it has to do with some sort of patchwork. So I got to figure that out. But what's up, Cranberry Landers? Hope you're doing well. Everybody's saying hello. No notification for Mark's music obsession. What? Mark, this is your notification right here. That's the notification for you, Mark's Music Obsession. How you doing, my friend? I think I have the closed captioning set up again, so maybe double check on that and let me know if you can see it okay. But I did flip the switch that I was supposed to, I think. and I think it's working. Actually, if I put it on, maybe I can just check here. Yep, there it is. I see it. But I'm turning it off for myself here, or else I'll get distracted by the delay. But how are you doing, Mark? Are you surviving the heat? I hear the heat is still bad for your part of the country. But hopefully you're staying cool. I don't know if you're able to get out on your boat or your mom's able to get out in this weather. It is, from what I've heard, pretty gnarly hot. So yeah, I hope you're staying cool. Happy Friday, yo Rocky. Everybody, hello, hello. It's for July 10th, so it's still accurate, not on, but planned for. There you go. I'm going to go with that description. And to be honest, anybody who's going to be watching this later, they're not going to double check the thumbnail. It's just me. I'm constantly like looking at my channel late hours, after hours, and I'm like tweaking things. I'm like, oh, that description was off. And is the order of the format of the emoji, is the thumbnail right? Actually, YouTube just launched, at least I just got access to, there's like a thumbnail, like A/B testing, they call it, I think. So basically you can upload 3 different thumbnails for the same thing, and then it'll test them out, and then whichever thumbnail performs better as far as views and engagement, then it'll tell you, which is kind of cool for YouTube creators. But then that means for me, as I was like, oh yeah, that's cool, then I was like, oh shoot, then I got to create 3 thumbnails. So I didn't do that for this stream. I just created one. So maybe that defeats the purpose, but it's kind of cool. So yeah, maybe I should check. Maybe I should do an exact same thumbnail and do different dates and see what happens. I don't think that would affect it. It's more like, I think the algorithm's more looking for, are you showing an image of your face on the thumbnail versus is it all text and what color is it? Like that kind of stuff. And I swear I'm never going to put my face like prominent on a thumbnail going, hey, I don't like those thumbnails. And even if it got me 1 million subscribers, I wouldn't do it out of principle. So I'm going to be stubborn about that. UK is good today. Thanks. I know there was a lot of, I think the whole world is going through a whole bunch of different like election political stuff, right? Big shifts here in America, UK. I heard France, there was a lot of protesting and political change there. So it sounds like the whole world's kind of anticipating, what's the word that I learned? Liminality. I think that's the right word, which is an awesome word, actually. It means like you're on the edge of change. I read that somewhere. Somebody told me that. Like you're always kind of on that edge of, which is not a comfortable place to be, of like something changing, whether that's good or bad, but the liminality. So I feel like that's where our world is right now. Heard my name, distracted. CC in full effect. Awesome. Thanks. Perfect. I'm really conscious of saying too, because my daughter is actually, she's taking this summer class. There's a speech and debate, and so they're practicing things. And one of the practice things, I just said it 3 times in the last 5 seconds. One of the practice things they did is to see, like they had to speak or read something. I think just speak on a topic, and they weren't allowed to say or like. And every time they did, it was kind of like a buzzer hit, and they switched to the next person. And so they were on teams, and every time an happened, you'd switch to the next person. So it's good. It teaches them that to not or like, because that is not good for public speaking. So, but now I'm really conscious of that. And watching some of my old streams, I say a lot because I'm reading at the same time I'm processing in my brain. So sorry. I think I would fail that class. Cranberry Lander says, I broke my phone, so I'm going to get a new one. Oh boy. There's the sorry about that. Hopefully it won't be too expensive. I don't know. Phones can be very, very expensive. However, if you have certain protection, you know, we had a phone in our household, the glass on the front shattered, pretty shattered. And then I had I had Apple Care for that phone, and I didn't realize how good the coverage was for broken glass. So it was only like $30 to fix it, and they did it in about an hour. So pretty awesome. Hadn't had to use that before, but there's the Gonna stop calling it out because that'll be annoying. But it worked. Comrade Sammy, how are you doing, Chat Ninja? What is this? Is that Ninja speak? I don't know what that is. That's a new sound effect. Maybe that's what the Chat Ninja sound, that if you had to spell it out, that's what it would be. I'm not even trying to pronounce that. Can't believe I'm late. Nah, it's all right. You're good. I'm late. This is Friday, and I'm supposed to stream on Wednesdays, so it's a running theme today. That's true about people not checking until you said that. They will now. They will now. They will now. So ignore everything I said, and today is Wednesday. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Apparently notifications didn't go out for anyone, Comrade Sammy. I find that like when I set the, I think I mentioned this last stream, when I set the schedule of, oh, I'm going to stream in 15 minutes or half an hour. Maybe it's the length of time that I set the schedule. I don't know if I scheduled it like days in advance, which I don't have enough scheduling prowess to be able to do that. I usually just schedule it for like 10, 15 minutes before I hit go. So if, just got distracted with the, but I noticed that when I hit the schedule that not that many people show up. So it's not, they must not be getting the notification. Either that or they're not coming into the stream because it's not live yet. But then once I hit live, then people start popping up. So I don't know what's going on with notifications. We'll never figure out notifications. I think it's just the way it is. When it works, we don't notice it. When it doesn't work, we definitely notice it. Now I got a notification. I just wasn't on my phone. There you go. See, notifications work. I like to have fun with them. People like to identify with, connect with people. I like to have fun with them. The thumbnails? Sorry, missed that. Heat has definitely been crazy. Was out in the boat with 6 others for almost 3 hours today. Oh, wakeboarding. Awesome. I don't think I could ever do wakeboarding. I don't think I'm coordinated enough to do that. But that's great. I mean, that's the perfect weather for a boat, to have a boat. As long as you have a little bit of shade to get into in your boat when you want to take a break, but that sounds awesome. It's my personal opinion, Emo Trash says, that being nitpicky about speech like that is a bit ridiculous. It can be. I mean, I think it's good practice because I know listening to myself back, I am amazed at how often I say and I just kind of sit on that And then definitely the younger generation, maybe it's a California thing. They say like every other word. So I think it's in good habit to at least try and curb it a little bit, and to be conscious of it. I think right now, just because it's so fresh in my mind, it's almost stumbling me that I'm overthinking it. Rocky the Overthinker. See? But I think in the long run, it'll be good. And it makes for good public speaking and more confident. Doesn't sound like you are not aware of what's coming out of your mouth. Make sense? Let's see. This Friday evening identifies as a... There we go. We're being politically correct with this Friday. This Friday can be whatever day it wants to be. And today it's a Wednesday. I got the first replacement when I'm going to parlay that into a newer phone or a more impressive phone with a trade-in. All right, awesome. Are you an Apple person, Cranberry Landers, or are you the rest of the world person? Do you have the Apple drug pumping into your veins. I do, unfortunately. But I love it so. The thumbnails I was talking about with the faces. Oh, gotcha. Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't mean to poo-poo on it. I know people do it, and yeah, it's fine. It just goes against me, the grain of who I am, to do something like that and to see myself doing something like that. Even though it's really effective. I mean, I'm clicking on thumbnails of people's faces because, like you said, you connect with that person. There's an emotional connection with a human being as opposed to a comic book cover or, yeah, whatever it is. For sure, you connect more with a human being's face and the emotion behind it, and it makes you go, "Oh, what?" So I guess so, but I will I will self implode this channel if I have to do that. I said like a ton. Yeah, me too. Am I muted? I hope not. I'm an though. This Friday can be a July. All right. Join the dark side. Be an Android user. Android? Boo. That's okay. Way cheaper than Apple stuff for sure. Yeah, when that crack screen happened, I was like, oh man, that's going to cost us like $1 bazillion. But then, thank you, Apple Care, $30, done in an hour, beautiful condition afterwards. I was like, all right, I'm in. I'm an solidly Android person since they first started. I hate Apple. I like to be counter. Is it counter control though? I don't know. Depends on which culture you're talking about. I know the Apple haters are pretty diehard Apple haters. One of my good friends, her husband, hopefully she's not watching because she'll know who I'm talking about. Her husband is in IT and he hates Apple like so much that it's always, any chance he gets to like poo poo on Apple, he will throw it out there. And I understand in the IT world and everything that they need to do and all the computer stuff that they need to deal with, Apple is a lot more difficult and inferior to the power of Android or Google or whatever other iOS system that you're working on or OS system that you're working on. But dang it, Apple phones are beautiful and they function so well. For me, there's the designer in me just loves Apple stuff. My kids are always, and my wife are always not criticizing me, but they're just like incredulous with the fact that I do not put a case on my phone. My phone is always like no case. And I've always been like that because I'm like, how many millions of dollars did they spend on perfecting the Johnny Ive, like to the millimeter, the design of that phone and how beautiful it sits on your hand and the weight and the smooth, seamless, everything. Like how many engineers and designers to like research the like materials to make it lightweight that they build the chip for and all the internal structure, like they arrange it in this perfect way. So many millions of dollars, so much talent. And then you put like a big fat like plastic ugly case on it. Like, what is the point of that? So I'm a bit of a snob when it comes to not putting a case on my phone. Granted, it can get damaged easier, but it wasn't my phone that cracked the screen. So we'll just end it on that. God bless Cranberry because he says Android rocks, is way better than Apple. Take that, iPhone. Nah, it's all good. It's so funny because all the things Apple is doing now is all like stuff that I know Android phones have been doing for years now, like how customizable they're trying to make things more. And I think partially because Steve Jobs isn't alive anymore to really like come down hard on how specific he wanted iPhone stuff to be. So now they're like, well, we can push it a little bit towards what everybody else wants, but nah. Apple has its flaws, but I like mine. Wish it had a headphone jack though, right? That's a serious flaw. Don't worry, Rocky. You're still loved. We still accept you and your Apple heathens. Thank you. I'm glad. The case is for protection? I guess you could, it's for expression too, but then like, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I there's very few cases, unless Apple makes them, there's very few cases that I think are worthy of being on that phone. Like, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful design. I use a dongle DAC to feed mine as Bluetooth. Sucks for sound quality. Oh, for your Apple phone? Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like every day, not every day, every model they're switching USB and like, oh, well, the one you had just now, it's totally obsolete, so you got to upgrade everything. So yeah, that is kind of a pain in the butt. Okay, so cool. I think I caught up in the chat. I think that wasn't too bad. Thank you everybody for being here. So one of the cool things, like I had mentioned, I was out of town this past weekend and I got to visit this town that's in Central California. It's called San Luis Obispo. And we were there and I looked up, one of the first things I do whenever I go to a new town is to look up, where is the local comic book store? And this town actually had 2 stores, which was kind of cool. So I went to both of them, visited both of them, and I recorded video at those stores. The first one, I kind of did it incognito. I didn't really, the first store, it's like, it was actually Mark's Music Obsession. This might be like the perfect store for you. It was like a combo audio, like trade-in reseller, used audio place, and they had DVDs, Blu-rays used that you could buy, and they had a comic book store in there that had like current books. And I found out, I actually visited that place twice. I found out they had a separate floor that had back issues there. So it was kind of big, kind of a weird amalgamation of a shop, but it was cool. And I didn't really feel like, I just walked in there and kind of got a vibe for it. And then I just pulled out my phone and started recording some footage. And it wasn't like I recorded the whole store. I just did the like comic area. So it wasn't as personal like with the other comic book store videos I've done in the past, where I talked to the owner and say, hey, I'd love to shoot it. I just kind of was like shooting footage, because it just didn't feel like that kind of store that I could do that. So I had that raw footage. And there was another store that I visited called Dr. Kane's Comics. And I actually had visited that store in another trip that we had been down there. And I connected with the owner, one of the owners there. He was really, really nice. And I had a great conversation with him this trip. We were just starting to, it's funny because like, you never know when you walk into a comic book store what kind of response you'll get. You're either going to be like, everybody's just like, leave me alone, I just want to get my books and get out of here. Or you'll run into like kind of snooty store owners that like aren't really helpful and just kind of, I don't know. I've had a few experiences, not recently, but in past, where the comic book store owner is definitely like the stereotypical comic book store owner from The Simpsons, which is like, oh, I've been reading comics all my life and I know that Captain America wears a size 12 boot or whatever. Like they're kind of super into it and like a little bit snobby about it. And then there's some comic book stores, which a lot of the comic book stores here locally, where the owners are really nice. They give you the space they want, that you need, but they also like talk to you about some cool things that they like and recommend stuff. And so this owner, his name is Patrick, at this store, Dr. Kane's, was like that. He was really nice. And so I saw this one issue of, do you remember that book that I opened up? I did an unboxing here of, it was called Room Service. That was like that horror comic. Well, he had that comic in a bag on his wall And that comic is not really, it wasn't really that widely distributed. So when I saw it, I was like, oh, this guy must have either did the Kickstarter campaign like I did or specifically ordered it. Like there's something in there. So I just kind of threw out, I was like, oh, it's cool. You have room service. I actually backed that campaign. And then all of a sudden it opened up this conversation. He's like, oh, I love Elsa Charretier, the girl who's the artist. And he's like, she's one of my favorites, all-time favorites. I was like, oh, no way. Like I love her stuff too. So we had this great conversation about this comic. And I could tell, like, after 5 seconds, he already was like, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. So we had a really good conversation. And so then I breached the subject. I was like, hey, I've got this YouTube channel. I record promo videos for local comic book stores. Would you be open for me videotaping? And then there's the big decision of like, then you get the feeling of like whether they're like, well, I don't know, that's kind of weird, which is kind of how I got from that one store I told you guys about in Mill Valley called Blue Moon Comics. They were just kind of like, well, yeah, I get a talk to the owner. But this guy was one of the owners, so it was cool. But he was like, yeah, sure, dude. Like, whatever you need. Like, if you need me to set up something, just let me just go for it. So that made it really fun and, just gave me the freedom to walk around, shoot what I needed to shoot. So I shot the video. And then one of the things I was doing at the beginning of this week, which probably is what compressed my deadline too, my work deadline, was I edited the video. And I just finished it yesterday. I'm waiting for, I sent it to him and I'm waiting to hear back for approval of it. But I was going to show it to you guys anyway before I posted it. Well, I won't post it public, but I'll show it to you guys here so you can see that comic book store. So, yeah, it's been a while since I did one of those store videos, so it was really fun to work on another one. So let me catch up in the chat, and then I'll show you guys that video. Premiere of Dr. Kane's. Unless he says, nah, it sucks, then I can't publish. But you guys will get to see my edit anyway. Let's see. That ain't oh yeah, the headphone jack, I know. Apple messes around with the sound quality unless you use a dongle, DAC, and special app software, which I do. You're hardcore, Mark. If you want to use wired headphones, y'all got to plug in through the charging port. Yes, you have to have the special headphone with the USB-C attachment. Go lightning to you, and then you could always use AirPods, so you don't have any cord. I know the quality isn't as good or close to wired headphones. Guerrilla comic shop shooting. It was kind of that. I would like walk and I'd like take a shot and then kind of move on to another corner, look, and yeah. And I haven't edited that video. That store is called Captain Nemo's, and I haven't edited that video yet, but that's my next one. Mall close to where I live got shot up recently. Oh, geez. Goodness gracious. I hope everyone's okay. That can't be good. I don't like to go to densely populated areas these days. Stay away from concerts and schools, emo trash. That's what's crazy to me is that apparently the perpetrator was my boy. What? Emo trash. Yikes. Holy cow. Small world. Yeah, that's not the connection you really wanna make. Yeah, that's not the 6 degrees of separation that you really want to have. That's scary. All right. Well, hope you stay safe. Stay safe. Stick to the insides watching comic streams where the rest of us are. All right, let me show you guys this video. Dr. Kane's Comics. Then we can talk about it afterwards. It's not a huge shop. It wasn't that much to film, but it's a cool shop. So here we go. Let me just make sure everything is set where it needs to be set. All right, let's go. Hopefully you guys hear this all right. I don't screw anything up. If I do, tell me. All right. There you there you go. Dr. Kane's Comics. Cranberry Landry says that looks like a cool shop. Looks great. Mark's Music Session, nice video, Rocky. Thank you. Yeah, that was fun. The really cool thing about that shop was it had this local business feel to it. I mean, you could see it. It's really intimate, but the guy, I mean, it just goes to show like the owner or the person who is running the store or behind the counter makes such a huge difference to the feel and the vibe of your experience when you go. And this guy was just the nicest dude. Great conversation. There's a few people that walked in while I was there, and he gave some awesome recommendations to them for different books. There, like some people, one guy came in with a little kid, and the little kid didn't know what he wanted, so the guy was throwing out different recommendations. Somebody else walked in and hadn't read comics in a long time and was looking for like had just mentioned like, oh, I love like horror comics, and he was like, you should read this book. Like it's one of the scariest comic books I've ever read. It's like, I'm just saying. And it was just, and they ended up walking out with the book, you know. It's like, so it's just this great, like a great, it takes a great skill to connect with somebody immediately and know how far you could go into recommending something, or it's totally an art. Like, so it was awesome. And then they had this cool like bench just in the middle of the store. If you saw that first shot where I walk in, there's like a bench there, which is great because it's like you could sit down, you could look at the shelves while you're sitting down. I think sitting areas are a huge deal in like bookstores or comic book stores. If you can create a sitting area, it makes a world of difference for somebody's experience of discovering something. It makes it feel welcoming. It makes it feel like you can take your time. There's no rush. Maybe that's good and bad. You really have to weigh that out depending on, like, you don't want people just loitering there, right? You want people who have have a purpose of being in a comic book store, not just somebody walking in and like taking a nap on your bench. But it just having that little bench there made the world of difference for people to sit down, have a conversation, look through books, and not just be standing there. So I love that. And then they had a cool brand with that jackalope or whatever that character was. They had that on t-shirts. Actually, one of the things I think I'm going to start doing is buying t-shirts for the stores that I visit. So each one of the stores, not all of them, but most of the stores here in San Francisco, I've seen t-shirts sold there, and I haven't bought them yet. So I'm thinking, that'd be cool to just start collecting t-shirts, kind of like rock band t-shirts or something, but from comic book stores. So like Dr. Kane's had a great shirt. I should have bought it when I was there. I know Amazing Fantasy has one. Comics Experience has one. I don't think Invisible Jet has one. And I'm not sure if Mission Comics has one. So, but anyway, so yeah, just having that merch was kind of cool. Gave a brand to the store. Having the little like recommendation cards are always great to see in comic book stores of what the store owners recommend. And yeah, they had a good selection of like back issues and current issues. That that balance is always big for me of, yeah, I want to see what the current books are, but I also am always constantly looking for the back issue bins or the discount bins because I love rifling through those and finding things that I wouldn't normally be looking for. Which, speaking of which, will be some of the stuff that I show you today, because I did find some cool stuff that I wasn't totally looking for. Bravo, Comrade Sammy says. Thank you. He should love it. Yeah, I hope so. I hope he does. That's kind of peak comic shopping other than the game arcade. Yeah. So what I'm hearing is that I'm the weirdo that just sit on the floor if there's room. No, I think that just goes to show that like whatever store you're doing that in or bookstore you're doing that in, it needs a sitting area for you to do that. So people, any kind of reading material or media material, you need to give the space for people to sit down and flip through it. There are some comic book shops where the books are all in bags, and that, not that it's bad. I know why they do that, but that kind of is a barrier for me discovering something new. But if I walk into a store and the comic book, you can pick it up, flip through it, look through it, and judge based on that experience, then more often than not, I'll probably buy something that I wasn't looking for. But if it's all bag and boards, all I got is like the cover art. And unless I'm looking for a specific book, all I have is like that cover art impression. And if it doesn't catch me, then I'm not going to like, sometimes I will open up the bag, look at the store owner. Is it okay if I open up this bag? Because you can anywhere you are in a comic book store, you open up that plastic and then you hear the tape come off of that. You can hear that from all corners of any comic book store. I don't care where you are. So that's always just like, am I gonna make this noise? And I've been in some stores where they're like, please don't open that, please leave it sealed. Then you're like, all right, well, I don't really want to buy anything. Or there was one store that I was in. Oh, it was actually Captain Nemo. So they had their normal issues were open. They weren't in bags, but all of their graphic novels they had sealed, like in saran wrap almost. So you couldn't flip through any of those, and it was just kind of like, well, then I won't really discover something. So if I ever have a comic book store, maybe that maybe that should be one of my goals, to retire and open my own comic book store. That would be awesome. That would be a dream. But I know it's hard work. But if I ever had a comic book store, like these are things I'm keeping in mind of like, what makes a successful comic book store experience? Sounds fun. I miss visiting comic shops. It's really fun. It's purely selfish, honestly, doing these videos, because it just gives me excuse to like research different stores and get to know the owners and stuff like that. So it's just me being selfish. Right, about the covering the comic thing, there are quite a few people who read it and not purchase it. Yeah, that's the risk you run. Or damage it, right? Like flip through it, not want it, damage it, not treat it well. I get it. But there is something like a little antiseptic about putting it in a bag and board and not allowing people to open it up. Yeah, it's a give and take. It's really a give and take. But speaking of comics, let me show you guys. So there's a bunch of books. Like the rest of today are, I'm just going to be going through books that I picked up this week. I have 6 books I picked up this week, which is a lot for me. And then I have stuff that I picked up from these stores in San Luis Obispo, which is a lot also. I picked up 3 things from there. So let me go through those first, and then we'll just continue this conversation. But yeah, a lot of today is just going to be going through all this because I have a lot of books to go through. I do have something to unbox, but I'm going to save that for later because it's something that I backed, and I'm gonna see if I can try and talk to one of the creators to see if I can interview them on stream and unbox at the same time. I don't know. It's a crazy idea I had this morning. So I'm going to save that. If I reach out to that creator and it doesn't work out, then I'll just unbox it next week. But I have plenty to go through today that I don't need to unbox. So Comrade Sammy says, my Sherlock comics have the bag and board. I like it. Keeps them from me. I mean, I bag and board all my stuff for sure. Like I'm pretty... I bag and board everything. And if I don't like the bag and board, like if I buy it from a shop and it's a little worn out or an older style bag, I will re-bag and board stuff. That's how crazy I am. So I get it, but I think for a store to bag and board and not allow you to flip through, then maybe they should have like a reader copy. Maybe that's like a compromise you could do. I don't know. One of the stores I visit in Japantown here in the city called Kinokuniya, they kind of seal all of their books. So you can't really look at them, and they're Japanese. So like you really have every now and then they'll have a reader copy, but for most part, they're all sealed. All the manga are sealed. And so you're just like, do I like the cover? And I kind of like try and peek. They'll have like a slit and I'll like peek open, try and see interior pages, but it makes it a little hard. to commit to a book if you can't look through it. I would really enjoy having my own music audio equipment store. I know, that's like me and wanting a comic book store. But I feel like the things I love about it would be great. And I think the things that I don't know about it, like running a business or running a store and inventory and all that, I would hate. So part of me is like, would that really be great? I'd probably have to pair up with somebody who's already knows how to run a store and then do it that way. Then I can just do the fun stuff. Like talking to the customers and nerding out about comics and reading comics. And then somebody else can deal with the inventory and making money. uh, True. Compensating, you're right about it creating distance, being more impersonal. Yeah. Main deterrent from having any kind of store, at least with the way things are right now. Yes, it's true. And it's really bad at least in San Francisco and California. I mean, we have everything sealed now. Like you walk into a Walgreens and 50% of the merchandise is behind a locked door. Like if I just want to buy hair gel or a shaving, shaver, it's like, or like cartridge replacements. Like you got to like buzz the person, wait for the person to come, unlock it. It's a pain in the butt. So yeah, I get that. That could be bad. I mean, if somebody's coming into a comic book store and stealing comic books, that's really specifically desperate. You can do it, Mark. We believe in you. I'd go to your store, Mark. Should have a reader and then for purchase copies bagged. Yeah, maybe that could work. Actually, I've never seen that. Somebody have just a reader copy of a comic and then like bagged and board versions stacked behind it. It's either I'd see one or the other. All bagged and board and you can't open it, or all open. So, yeah. There's some great policies in California, really keeping everyone safe. Yeah. All right, let's see. Let's get into the comics. Let's get into the fun stuff. Whoa, that's my keyboard. Why is that so zoomed in? Oh, that's why. All right, let's get into this. So that store, Captain Nemo's, that I didn't do a video for, but that had great back issues. One of the they were all like, sometimes when people have back issues or carry back issues, they either go way far back to like really old comics, like golden age, silver age comics that I never collected, or they'll just have like, oh, from the last year, those are their back issues. And I kind of like, the sweet spot for me are like 80s, 90s, early 2000s are like the sweet spot for back issues that I'm usually looking for. But this store, Nemo's, had quite an extensive back issue room, and I did film that. So when I edit that video, you guys will get to see it. The only problem with that is it was on the second floor. We're in Central California, and at the time, this past weekend, there was a huge heat wave that came through. So we're talking like 90s, 100s while we were there, really hot. And then in the second floor, it was like this tiny floor. You had to walk up these little steps, and they had a fan going up there, but it was sweltering hot up in this little room, no circulation. So I couldn't stay in there that long when I was like searching for stuff because I was just dying with how hot it was up there. But I was telling the guy at the counter, I was like, it was probably a good thing it was so hot up there because it forced me to just like look for a few things that I kind of had in mind that hard to find issues that I couldn't find, and then not browse through every single box. Because if I had browsed through every single box, I probably had walked out of with a lot more stuff. But I was like, oh, let me go find that issue. And then once I found it, I'm like, okay, I got to go because it's too hot. So anyway, it saved my wallet probably a little bit that it was so hot. And, but that kind of room, that kind of back issue collection is the kind that you can spend hours in just flipping through and discovering new issues and looking for things that are hard to find online or in other stores. So this was actually an issue that I was I have kind of a back catalog in my brain of certain things that I'm looking for, obscure things that I'm looking for, and this was one of them. So this was a book from Wildstorm called Midnighter about a character named Midnighter. He was like their version of Batman a little bit, like a vigilante, but he was a lot more harsh than Batman is. Not as a good guy, just kind of how do I describe Midnighter? Like he wasn't a rich guy, but he was like he didn't have real superpowers necessarily. Just like good combat, just wore leather and beat the crap out of people and stuff. But the reason why I was looking for this issue was because the artist on this was John Paul Leon, who I've talked about before on my stream. He passed away, I want to say a year or two ago, probably 2 years ago. And it's a shame because he is an incredible artist, like one of those artists that come once in a generation. And I have a artist edition of a book that he did called Winter Men, which I don't remember if I pulled it out before on stream, but incredible artist edition book. And this guy could draw anything. Realism, perspective, great designer, and amazing compositions. And so he just was a guest artist on one issue of this book, Midnighter. I never collected Midnighter, wasn't really into the character that much. But I can't remember. Midnighter was part of a bigger team. Was it Planetary? What was that? I think it might have been Planetary. Anyway, regardless, I just wanted to get this John Paul Leon issue, and as you can imagine, it's pretty obscure. Not many people carry back issues of Midnighter, let alone this one issue. And but I found it. I found it in this store. John Paul Leon also I did an unboxing on my channel of the Carl Malone, the Mailman, the comic. Same artist, John Paul Leon. So I was really excited to find this. Let's see. Thanks, Comrade Sammy. Maybe a semi-retirement business. Yeah, there you go. We can open a store that's like Captain Nemo's Mark's Music Session. We'll do it with like some audio equipment, comics. It'll be amazing. At Cracker Barrel, they warned us about this guy that would go to different stores and just pick up a handful of the records off the rack and just walk out the door. Yeah. Yeah. There was this funny image that was released recently of they have a Louis Vuitton store downtown, and it's been broken into a number of times during like post-pandemic and all that. Like people would just like brazenly, what do they call it? No, wait. What is it when people like burst into dance randomly in public? Oh gosh, I can't remember the term, but they have same term for when people, like a whole bunch of people would collaborate and coordinate a robbing of a store, and they would just all go into the store. And so they would swarm Louis Vuitton. Security guards couldn't really do anything because there was too many of them. They would just come in, break all the glass, whatever, and run out with all these like hundreds of thousands of dollars of merchandise. So just recently, somebody altered one of the street signs, and it said like, do not stop. I can't remember what it said. It said something to the effect of like, crime only under $950 allowed or something, because there's this dumb policy in our city where they're not allowed to prosecute people as if they steal something that's under $950. Like there's an actual law that, and I probably am misquoting it, but there is a law in place where it's not considered theft if it's under $950. And that's why you'd have people walking into Target, walking into Walgreens, and just like with a whole bag, just like sweeping stuff into the rack and then walking straight out. And the security guards couldn't really do anything. The DA wouldn't do anything. And it was all part of this policy of like, let's not punish people who have small petty crimes. Like our prison system is already taxed enough, and we're wasting effort on these kind of small crimes. Let's just focus on the big crimes, and let's focus on reform. In theory, I understand why that subject would come up. or how that policy could be brought forward. But in practice, then you have people just doing things, knowing this law, and getting away with you know, this kind of crime, and nobody can do anything about it. So it's really frustrating and pissed off a lot of people in our city that was like that. So yes, people just walking in, grabbing records off the rack at Crackle Barrel. Not surprised at all. People stole comics at my old comic book shop, but I bought way much to overpower the nice. You're doing one for society there, Cranberry. You could be the first with that business model, Rocky, with a nice sitting area for the reader copies. Yeah, let's do it. Mental note. I bought Supreme for a friend of mine. Oh yeah, I remember Supreme. He was like the Extreme Universe's Superman. A rebranded Batman. Kinda. Yeah, he was like their version of Batman. The Wildstorm version of Batman. He was also gay too, so that was like a huge thing. He was like this tough vigilante superhero that also was in love with like the guy who was the equivalent of Superman. I think he was on his team. I don't know that much about the story, but anyway, sorry, totally sidetracked. But this was John Paul Leon. The reason I got it was for the art, because of John Paul Leon. He's amazing. He's got this, like this the very realistic looking proportions, but in this style, like very graphic, hard-edged style. And his sense of spotting blacks was brilliant, really amazing. I always loved looking at his work in black and white. He did a book called Earth X. Did I pull that out before? I could have sworn I pulled that out before when I was talking about the Karl Malone mailman stuff. But yeah, like look at that face. That's like an awesome face. Like definitely like referenced, but it doesn't look so stiff and boring like a photograph referenced artwork. Like there's style to it, and there's definitely a strong composition. It's awesome. It's like the guy's looking here over his shoulder, Midnighter's standing there. And Midnighter's in this dark costume, dark leather costume, so he makes great graphic element. Like look at the angles there. It's awesome. And he did these designs of these crazy guys who are like ex-military cyborg, but they're kind of retired, so they have like cyborg parts. Like this guy's mouth turns into this gun. This guy's like opening up his chest. It's a weird story, but it's awesome. It's actually a funny story. Midnighter is this hardened vigilante, and his boss is telling him like, you've got bad, like your public persona is really bad. Like the PR around you is really bad because you're hard and you like kick the teeth out of all of the villains, and you just have a bad reputation. So you got to do something good. So go like save a cat or something. And he was like, what? And he's like, just do it. So he goes and he sees this girl crying, and literally her cat needs saving. And he's like, oh, fine, I'll do it. And then he gets in the process of saving this cat, because they get kidnapped, he runs into this cyborg retirees. But John Paul Leon, he could draw anything at any angle. Cars, vehicles, action, weapons. He was so good. It's a shame that he died so young. He did a book called Wintermen. That's the artist edition I have. And Earth X was his big thing. He did some work on Static Shock, I think. Like, look at the perspective on that. This is like a laboratory where they're experimenting on animals, cyborg animals. And like, so the story is these ex-military cyborgs, retired cyborgs, are on this, they're just hired guns, and they're stealing all these animals to take to this crazy mad scientist who is experimenting on the animals, adding cyborg parts to them to turn them into weapons. And then he himself is like a cyborg. But like all this kind of tech stuff, like John Paul Leon can draw it. I find that the the colorists too that John Paul Leon was paired up with, like some of them either really got his stuff or really didn't. And so like the colorist who was coloring him on Earth X, I didn't feel like was a great pairing. This colorist isn't so bad, but like sometimes they wouldn't really know what to do with his such graphic work, like so hard edged graphic stylization of stuff. The colorist didn't know, like, oh, should I render it? What should I do? They always tend to put these like gradients everywhere with his work. But like, I think when his stuff works the best is when it's flat colored. Like, that's beautiful. These greens here, the greens and yellows, that's awesome. And that works really well with his black and white art. So yeah, then he ends up saving the cat, and then he takes home this dog, and the dog like pisses on his boss at the end. Da, 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 da. But anyway, it was cool. It was really cool to find this issue. It's not the most widely spread issue out there, so to find a store that carried it, and they actually had Midnighter, I think like 1 through 12, if I remember flipping through, which is not usual. So anyway, that was pretty cool to run across that one. Flash mob. Thank you. That's exactly what it is. Although, flash mob for crime. Typical California law. Yeah, very typical. One of the main reasons it's really sad. It's so sad. They just can't, so many times that there's news articles about businesses closing, it's like, we couldn't stay open with the kind of theft that's going on, and the police aren't really doing anything. And I know people that are police officers, and they're like, their hands are tied, you know. Let's see. They don't have to be jailed. Nope. They don't have to be jailed. They can just fine them. I don't even know if they got fined. They just kind of get a slap on the wrist, from my understanding. And I watched this one documentary where, I'd have to find what the name of the reporter was. It wasn't a documentary made by like a traditional news source. It was a guy, he calls them guerrilla documentaries, and he followed this guy who is a homeless guy in San Francisco, and who would do these break-ins in cars specifically. And they had this whole methodology of how they would break cars, what they would use, what kind of tools, target, because it's really bad here for like tourist sites. Cars are constantly being broken into. And they just smash and grab. They would like drive up to a car, look inside, smash, grab, go, and the car would take off, and couldn't do anything about it. So this one guerrilla documentarian befriended somebody who did this for a living. And it was so fascinating, so disturbing, but fascinating, because the guy was saying like, he knows the system. He knows even if he gets stopped, and I think he had been arrested maybe like 4 times already. Like, he had a record and everything. And every time he got arrested, he knew that he would be, even if he spent some time in jail, he knew he would be out in a certain number of days, weeks, months. And then there was nothing that would change. He would just go back out and do it all over again, because the likelihood of him getting caught or the police doing anything about it was really low. So he was willing to take that risk. And part of the sad motivation in it is like, he was like, I can't afford to live in this city anymore. It used to be affordable here, and now we're just getting eked out by all these rich tech people that are buying up all the property and changing all the neighborhoods. And so yeah, you could see both sides to it. Not that it justifies the crime, but you can see like the desperation, how somebody would turn to do what he had to do and just kind of survive. But it was also eye-opening of how people know how ridiculous these laws are, and they just work the system. And the system is so broken, and the red tape is so much that like, they don't care. Like, they know they can get out and not really be affected by any kind of punishment. So it's really messed up. I mean, and that has to do with like the meth culture here too, and My gosh, this is turning into a really depressing stream. This is why I don't like talking about this stuff, because it's such a bummer, guys. I like talking about comics, but you know that's kind of where we're at. You should leave that communist country and come back to the U.S., Rocky. The air is fresher over here. I am in the U.S. Dear Lord. Especially clean down here in free Florida. Yep. Yeah. Louie just appeared on my show. Hey, Louie. How you doing? How you doing, you little Louie? The Midnighter cover looks great. So that cover, I think this cover is by he was one of the regular artists. Chris Sprouse, I think, did this cover. I don't think it was John Paul Leon. Chris Sprouse is a great artist too. Never mind, he's being a little brat. Oh, Louie. Planetary. Yeah, I think it was Planetary, which was a team, and he was kind of like the if it was like Justice League, where Batman was always on the outs and kind of did things his own way. Midnighter was modeled that same way. Good faces, good colors. Yeah. Hello, Louie. Flash mob for crime is just a heist, Rocky. Yeah. It is. But it's not as cool as a heist. A heist is like Ocean's 11. That's cool. Flash mob is like not cool. Hey, they just can't afford Louis Vuitton. How will they eat? They can only eat designer clothes and accessories. That must be supremacy talking. 3 strikes rule helped in Washington. I could have sworn we used to have a 3 strikes rule here. But ever since COVID, it's turned into like a 27 strikes rule. I don't know. Just move. You don't have the right to take stuff from people who are working to put food. I know. Addiction doesn't. No, it doesn't. They should get help though. Yeah. And there's no. As much as the local government wants to say, and who am I to say? I don't know how the government runs. I really don't. But as a tax-paying citizen, they say they are spending billions of dollars on programs to help people, whatever, but they don't work. They are not working. And that's why our current mayor is not doing well. She is not doing well. Okay, so that was Midnighter. At Dr. Kane's, I picked up this, which I know I had a copy of this before, but I realized I didn't have one anymore. I have the artist edition of Michael Zack, who is one of my top favorite artists. And Mike Zack had a great run on Punisher. He's known for his work on Punisher, on Captain America. He did any of the G.I. Joe, old classic G.I. Joe covers that you can think of that are striking. And if you read G.I. Joe, any of those covers that like stuck out to you was probably Mike Zack. And then he did this, Kraven's Last Hunt, which was a phenomenal story of Kraven the Hunter and Spider-Man. And it's probably I would argue, the best Kraven story out there. Kraven's not that, I don't think he's that great of a character to begin with, but this story makes him amazing. So, usually as I connect to comic book stores and comic book store owners in particular, I like to patronize the store and buy something to support them. And especially if it's something that I don't have or like discover in their store. So I saw this on the rack, and I actually haven't seen many copies of Kraven's Last Hunt recently. And like I said, I used to have one, but I don't remember where it went. So I saw this and I was like, oh, I would totally want to pick this up again. So if anybody's read this, you would know why. Hopefully your fellow Californians will vote for a change in the power structure. Don't want you to have to deal with the depressing environment. Bring back the cool San Francisco I remember. I know. Yeah, it is kind of depressing. Every time we go out of town and visit wherever, I'm just like, why don't we move here? This seems so much nicer than where we are. And it's so hard to live in San Francisco. It's so expensive. Everything is so expensive. You walk out the door and sneeze and you spend $25. So, but when we were in San Luis Obispo and we were there for the weekend, we were talking to one lady who worked at a restaurant. She was just saying it's so expensive to live there and really hard. She loves it. It's a cute town, but very, very expensive. So I don't know. It's kind of like that. I guess California is kind of like that. Anyway, let's flip through some of this and you can see why I love Mike Zeck. I'm not 100% sure if the original colors were like this. I'd have to go back and look at old issues to see. I have a feeling they might have recolored it, like re-computer colored some of this stuff. But anyway, Zeck just had this amazing command of human anatomy and making it dynamic. Like he definitely embodied the Marvel style of drawing like super heroic figures. And you could see it right here in the opening pages of this story arc with Kraven. This guy's just naked in his I don't know, his lair or whatever, and just kind of wrestling animals. And but it's amazing. Like it's just so dynamic and like primal, and it just sets the tone of the story great. And it just has this whole like just the drama that is set up in this story about like Spider-Man dying and Kraven hunting him is such a great setup. This was when Spider-Man was in his black costume too. Let's see. Kraven wasn't one of my favorites, but he's one of Spider-Man's most realistic enemies. Yeah, and that's probably why he wasn't one of your favorites. Like we all love the like weird rogues gallery of villains when we read our comics. And I think him just being this weird hunter was like, okay, all right. But the way that they portray him in this story arc is so like an animal, which is ironic because he hunts animals and he's so tormented by Spider-Man. And like, look at this whole scene. I love this page so much of him. Zoom in a little bit more of him. Like thinking about spiders and like, look at this buildup, like these tiny panels and these spiders start crawling in here and then they get really, they start coming in close. And then he's just in this this would be a nightmare for me if this happened in real life. Granted, I wouldn't be standing there naked watching spiders follow me, but they just totally like pile up on him and then he bursts out of it and he just starts eating them. It's so messed up. And he's just like chomping on spiders and just exploding in his mouth. It's amazing. But how cool are these drawings? Mike Zeck's originals. I'll pull out his book in a second here. His originals are so great. Yeah, I just love it. So yeah, I feel like this stuff feels computer enhanced to me. I don't remember if the original was like this. It might have been. They said Mike Zeck was the colorist along with this other guy, Ian Tetra. And I don't know if they recolored it for this graphic novel or if this is how it was. Love this. If anybody could draw somebody holding a very specific firearm, it was Mike Zeck. He drew great stuff. I mean, he did it in Punisher and Captain America. The characters he drew in Captain America that had weapons was so good. But I love how a lot of this story isn't dialogue. It's just like you're feeling the emotional like torment through storytelling through the comic page. He's like giving you a snapshot of what is going on inside these characters' heads. And then there's another character, a third character, Vermin, who's in this story, and he's like basically like a mutated rat guy, but he's super creepy. And I love this setup. Like this girl gets freaked out by a rat, falls in this rainy street, and then just gets yanked into the sewer. That's messed up. There he is, Vermin. Mary Jane. And then there's this whole like metaphors of seeing rats, and then obviously vermin's in the story, and she's like killing the rat, and then the grave. Kraven's just losing his mind here. It's amazing. This is awesome. I love this. I'm really glad I found this. Sorry, because I haven't read it in a while, and it's just full of beautiful Zek stuff. And then now here's the crossover with like vermin, and here's a spider. So all these metaphors with the animals going in. This is just so horrific. I'm just drowning in spiders. Okay. SF must be really expensive for you, Rocky, and your coughing. My coughing's actually been really great until just now. I think so. I usually take one Zyrtec a day because of my cats. I'm slightly allergic to my cats, not fully, but slightly allergic. So I take a Zyrtec a day. But every time I take a Zyrtec, I feel like it does, like I'm allergic to Zyrtec. So yeah, I took it today, and then I started like coughing. I'm like, that's not good. Don't say that, Rocky. They'll try to come up with another mystery jab against all your sneezes. Yeah, no kidding. Now we say goodbye to Louie because he wants to bite me for not letting him run up and down my arm across my keyboard. Louie, come on, Louie. Don't be a jerk. I like Chameleon, Hammerhead, Venom, Doppelganger, Scorpion. Yeah, all great characters. Hammerhead, I don't remember Hammerhead that much, but I remember the other ones, Doppelganger, Scorpion, Venom. For sure, Venom. They kind of are overdoing Venom right now. I don't know how many different Venom books are out there. They're oversaturating the market a little bit with him. Beautiful splash page. Look at that. Boom. Man, Zek is so good. Yeah, just his like contorting of the body, so dynamic. Look at that. I mean, if you like studied that, like this is really out of proportion with the rest of the body, but it's so dynamic. I don't care. I love comic book art that's like this more than comic book art that's like really exactly and anatomically perfect. I like to push more towards the stylistic stuff. That's messed up. So gross, so crazy, amazing. Look at the use of the letters. Let me zoom in on this. Oops. Oh, that looks out of focus. Look at that lettering. Isn't that so cool? It's like the way that they jumble it all up there. She's freaking out, obviously, because she just got licked by vermin. But the way they just kind of cram it all there, and you really get this sense of like panic, and she's just freaking out, losing her mind. It's great. Great use of like different lettering here, lettering styles, all lowercase. This green color box, so simple, but like you get it that's Vermin's voice right there. He does great bodies and faces. Yeah, so much expression and character. This great lighting too. This kind of upshot on this nose. That's not easy. Definitely dynamic. Zek is all about the dynamism. Is that a word? Dynamics, dynamism. Look at this awesome fight. This is fun. Man, I can't wait to read that. And then this classic cover. See, here's the difference between like computer coloring. Cool. I mean, it looks cool. It looks like he's in like poop, like bloody poop. But look at that. There's something about that like limited palette, limited flat palette from comic book cover. This is what I feel like it was colored like. I don't know. Maybe it's just like airbrushy stuff. But I love this. This is, when I do a comic, the coloring, I want it to feel like this. More showing off his skill at drawing human anatomy. It's a really dark story, but it's great. And I think just the like getting into the torment and the insanity in Kraven's mind. I mean, that's so impactful. As a kid, this is just like, totally blowing your mind watching Spider-Man like be buried alive, rise out of the grave. It's really cool. Some great storytelling going on here too. It's a lot of nice pacing. Like this, it's awesome. No dialogue, just her saying Peter, but you get it. Like you get how like distressed he is. What's Louis doing? Louis is an angel to the eyes of my mother. Touching freaking enter key. I thought Louis was stepping on your enter key. My cats will do that. They'll jump on and then they'll just like get their foot stuck on one key and they'll just go across my email or something. Fallen angel, maybe. That is disturbing. Think it's implying something else with a catatonic woman scene. Maybe. Here, I love this. I love it. One of my favorite things with comics is when, you can tell stuff with dialogue, with words and pictures. That's the beauty of the medium. But just being able to do it without words and communicate something is, and this whole spread right here, no words. That's amazing. Here we go. He's here. Dynamism is a word. Thank you. Here's a classic Amazing Spider-Man cover. This is classic Zek cover. This is probably one of the more well-known images of Kraven the Hunter right here. Is this one. Great use of like camera and like scale. Good stuff. Spider-Man fell into where gross. That's nasty. Oh boy. He's going to need a tetanus shot after that. Cranberry Lane says, I'm getting cats, and like, what? No kidding. You're getting cats? More than one of them? That's amazing. Are they, why in 2 weeks? Is it like, are they getting delivered to you? Are they like from a breeder, or are they just available at a pound or something? That's awesome. Congratulations. Oh, here we go. My brother's 2 cats. Oh, for 10 months. Oh, is he going on vacation? Oh my gosh. That rat and spider splash page looked great. Yeah. So here's Kraven finally in his costume. He captured Vermin. And he's just like, I think that the amazing thing here is like you weren't sure that Spider-Man would survive this. Like Kraven was that crazy and that powerful that you had no idea what was going to happen. And again, as a kid reading this, you're like riveted by what was going on. I had this dramatic lighting on most of these shots. Here's another page. No dialogue, no words. Amazing. There's a cool rhythm too that Zach and the writer, I don't know how to pronounce his name, J.M. DeMatteis. There's a cool rhythm they're setting up. I know that Todd McFarlane, when he was writing his Spider-Man series, was influenced a lot by this one. The way it was written and kind of the pacing. He used Kraven as well. That was another cool version of Kraven, actually. Great stuff. You guys get the picture. Vermin is this like tragic, creepy character. And then the whole time there's this, they keep cutting away to this like grave being dug. And so it's pretty ominous. And there you go. So this is cool. The cool thing that this this compilation included was some pencils. I wish it was bigger. I wish the scans were bigger. I wish they gave like the whole thing, but these are Zex pencils. Look how beautiful these are. Oh, that's so good. I love how he indicated rain too. It's so dramatic. Man, these are great. So yeah, it's awesome they included this. I have no idea why they like shrunk it down just so they could put this weird black and red border. Like, why do that? Just make it full page, guys. I think the proportion of the pages maybe, yeah, it's not one. It's not like they could, if they scaled it all the way up to the edge, they'd be cutting off. So that's probably why they did it. But I'd almost rather like to see it full bleed. And like, why small panels? Make them bigger. But this is amazing to see these pencils. Anyway, this was a great get. It wasn't that expensive. This is another classic Zach. This is the version that I grew up with, was this cover of a compilation. Man, that is so good. Nobody draws like this anymore. Not like this. Even this this coloring is amazing. And then here's Pooh bloody stool sample grave. There's a bigger image of that. Look how cool that is. Man, I love it. Love it, Zach. Okay, let me grab that Zach thing really quick. What do you call it? The artist editions, just to show you guys some of those pages close up. Let me switch to this view. Boop. All right, I'll be right back. So this is a great, amazing artist edition. Well, I gotta zoom out of that one. Move this. So I'll just show you some pages. I won't go through this whole thing, but it's great to see. And I think I know they have Kraven stuff in here. But here's like his Punisher stuff. Like, whew, how cool is that? Like, talk about, like this was talking about his guns. Man. And Mike Zeck is also known for his Secret Wars. The original Secret Wars. Okay, here it is. This is the Kraven stuff. And I'll zoom in a second. Oh my goodness. And focus. Like, look how cool that is. Oh my goodness. So these are the like scans from the original inks. Like when I stare at this, this is everything for me. This is like makes me want to do this. This is everything. This is the epitome of comics for me right here. Mike Zeck's one of those artists that make me go like, oh, like I gotta do this. Just seeing these originals. So yeah, this is from what we were just looking at. And I mean, I could deal without the color. Like that's how good this is. Let me get to that page. Oh yeah, this is the spider page I was telling you guys about. There it is. Man. I could stare at this all day. Let me see how far I can zoom in here. Just like the brush strokes. My goodness. If that doesn't get you psyched about comics, I don't know. I don't know what would. There's some great Zipatone stuff here too that he uses, which not all artists can really master the Zipatone. Sorry, I'm looking at an angle because I'm going to hit something. But you can see like some of the zips that he's doing here. Like here. Super cool. I wish it was the whole kit and caboodle, but it's not. There's that page that I was just talking about with the gun, the rifle. Isn't that awesome? There's like some nice dry brush technique here. It just hurts. It's so good, guys. So good. So yeah, this is a this is a classic Mike Zeck cover for Secret Wars that he did. But I recommend this. If you like any of the Zeck work that I just showed you, or you know of his work in, this is a good one to get. All right. And don't even get me started on the like Punisher work that he did. Holy moly. All right, what are you guys saying? Or I'll switch to this view. Oops. We are missing some of the chat regulars. We are. Like John. Where's John? I don't see John. Awesome one. Where's he? Come on, guys. I think I'm throwing him off because it's Friday. Never thought about that, actually. Louis has never run across my keyboard. Then again, we've kind of conditioned him against jumping on counters and tables. John is out for dinner. Maybe. Oh, your brother's going into training. So you got to watch the cats, huh? Well, that's fun. Be careful. You might want to keep him after you take care of him. Can't tell you where Awesome One is. He's getting stationed somewhere for a while. I'll be looking after his cats for him. Oh, wow. Well, tell your brother thank you for serving. His kitties. He has 2. That's great. Actually having 2. We used to have 1 cat. Before we got the 2 cats that we have now, we used to only have 1 cat. And we're like, this is enough. But then after we got 2 cats, we realized we're like, I don't think I could ever go back to 1 cat. There's something about having 2 cats that's really fun. Gorgeous panels and orientation stuff within the panels. Yeah, he's a master. These are amazing. I like the pencils more. Yep. Coloring is amazing. Rocky, I see you're sporting the cap. I am. That was not conscious. Yeah, I am. It's funny. I was wearing this. I stopped by the library earlier today, and the security guard, as I was walking out, he said, "Oh, have you seen the new trailer for Captain America?" I was like, "Why are you randomly telling me this? I don't know who you are." But it's because he saw my shirt. I realized afterwards because he saw my shirt. So yeah, I guess the new trailer for the new Captain America just came out today, which I watched. It looks cool. I'm always cautiously sort of not optimistic, but just I'm very cautious with current Marvel trailers because I have been disappointed on the recent Marvel stuff. So I'm not super excited about the new movie, but Harrison Ford's in it, so that could be cool. The Red Hulk is in it. So yeah, we'll see. Spotted the musical t-shirt. Yep. Oh my gosh, you guys are funny. You now owe Cranberry a soda of his choice. Jinx. Dr. Pepper. I love Dr. Pepper. It's my favorite. I love so many things that they had in this run. Yeah, me too. It's a good one. It's if you guys want any kind of entryway into Mike Zeck's work or Kraven the Hunter, recommend this storyline and this compilation. It's good. Lucky is my cat. Oh. Okay, got it. I thought it was a typo. Lucky is your cat. Louis is the little bird. Gotcha. He has 3 technically cats, but his son is taking one of them. Oh, okay. Why did he leave the other 2 behind? Was there a reason? Okay, so I had a Midnighter, and the Amazing Spider-Man compilation. And then there was another store, not a comic book store, used bookstore that I went to called, I think it was called Phoenix Books. But I also love going to used bookstores, often, in general, just rifling through used books. But oftentimes they also have a graphic novel section, which this one did. And it wasn't that deep. Had some stuff, but I found this, which was kind of cool. So the ride is a series that was produced by a label called 12 Gauge Comics. And 12 Gauge Comics, somehow I think they must be, well, I don't know if they're based in Atlanta. The reason why I say that is a lot of the artists and creators that are affiliated with 12 Gauge come from a studio called Gaijin Studios. Gaijin Studios is based in Atlanta. For those of you who are longtime watchers of Shant's stream, and I have mentioned Gaijin a couple times on my stream, but definitely in Shant's stream, Shant has connections with Gaijin Studios because he interned there one summer, and one of his mentors, Brian Stelfreeze, is one of the founders of Gaijin Studios, and Brian Stelfreeze did this cover. And so Gaijin Studios was Brian Stelfreeze, Carl Story, inker, Adam Hughes, phenomenal artist, now predominantly a cover artist, Jason Pearson, one of my all-time, talking about Mike Zeck as being one of my all-time faves, Jason Pearson is one of my all-time favorite comic book artists. He also passed away not too long ago, sadly, very young. Why is there a running theme of these like comic book artists passing away that I love? And Cully Hamner, Jason Martin. People have come in and out of Gaijin Studios, but those were kind of the core guys. Joe Phillips, Dexter Vines is an inker. Joe Phillips is an artist. Am I missing anybody? If Shant was on the stream, he would let me know. But definitely like Adam Hughes, Brian Stelfreeze, Jason Pearson, Cully Hamner, and Carl Story. Those were the heavy hitters at Gaijin Studios. So this book, The Ride, was written by a guy named Chris Brunner. Was it Chris Brunner? Or was it Kevin Gardner? There's a few guys who wrote. Oh yeah, here's it. Dave Johnson also went through Gaijin. Why didn't I just open up this book? But the story just kind of, it's kind of like a crime series that centered around this car. That was like the main component in most all the stories in the ride. And they were these miniseries that would come out, and some of them were one shot, some of them were ongoing stuff. This girl was kind of a main character in a lot of the issues. And so I never knew that they compiled it in a graphic novel. And the awesome thing is that it's compiled and it's in black and white, which you guys know I love black and white art. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, wow, cool. And I flipped through it, and here's like a Cully Hamner story. And this is a Brian Stelfreeze story. I definitely should do a stream on Stelfreeze work because I have a lot of his books, and he's a huge, big time, amazing storyteller. And I know he taught Shant a lot of what Shant kind of lives by now. And he's one of the masters of graphic storytelling, like leading your eye and drawing stuff. His stuff is really graphic, like really hard-edged work. And I think I'd mentioned him before in one stream, but he tends to draw like guys with guns that are doing like acrobatic stuff, riding motorcycles most of the time is what his shtick. Like this guy here is pretty much the quintessential Brian Stelfreeze character. This guy with this like square head with these guns. But these guys at Gaijin would do action really well, and Brian definitely was one of those. Brian Stelfreeze also does a lot of cover work for DC. Did a lot of Batman covers at time. Great, phenomenal painter. If you want to see his work, go follow him on social media, but because he's posting pretty regularly his painted stuff. He's a phenomenal painter. It's another guy, George's Ginty. And Gaijin Studios were known for their very good ink work, black and white ink work, graphic style, obviously. My mother missed the pencil. She was in the bathroom. Oh, does she want to see them? I can pull the. Let me know. I can pull it out if she's there. I can pull out those pencils. I love that she was watching. Hi, Mark's mom. How are you doing? I hope you enjoy the art. I can pull out the pencils if you want to see it again. Just let me know. No problem. Adam Hughes is awesome. Too good. Yeah, Adam Hughes is one of the best. So good. So him and Brian Stelfreeze. And then here's Jason Pearson. Now this is like later in Jason Pearson's career. Jason Pearson's best. I keep this by my desk just for inspiration. Like I said, one of my tops. And I think I've shown some of Jason Pearson's original art. I think I showed his original page. I have some of his original pages, but this is Jason Pearson stuff. Like these are by far some of his best work right here. These two series. This is like the best Savage Dragon story ever that I like. He did it. Carl Story inked it, also part of Gaijin. And then Body Bags. I won't flip through these now because I will just get sidetracked like you wouldn't believe if we're talking about Jason Pearson. But yeah, this is his stuff. Talk about a guy who could do action, great storyteller, style up the wazoo. Like, he is amazing. So it's really sad that he's no longer with us. So these were at like peak Jason Pearson years, I'd say. His style here, what's here in the ride, is a little bit later in his career. He got a little bit looser, and I liked it when Carl Story was inking his stuff. He inking himself, like I felt like it was kind of a little bit looser, a little bit more rushed. Still great drawings and great storytelling, but not as tight as when Carl Story's inking him. And Pearson was very violent in his work. So yeah, this is a little bit, this isn't as tight as, I can tell he's like rushed. And I know he struggled with a lot of like self-doubt from my understanding, and he had a lot of demons he was kind of wrestling with, even though he was just a doggone amazing artist and everybody loved his work. So I don't know, you never know what demons people struggle with. So yeah, he did a story in here. I don't know this artist, D. Alexander Gregory. Never heard of him. But it's kind of a graphic, realistic style a little bit. But here's another Cully Hamner story. I'd say Cully Hamner's work reminded me a lot of Stelfreeze. Kind of his rendering and graphicness in his work reminded me of Stelfreeze's stuff. Rob Haynes. A little bit more cartoony. Kind of had a Jason Pearson flair to his stuff too. Chris Brunner, I had heard of him. I don't know if he was officially with Gaijin. His stuff is cool. Way more realistic. And then here's some pinups. I think they had, this is a Jason Pearson pinup. They had some, oh yeah, this is cool. They have some sketches back here. These are Cully sketches, Jason Pearson sketch, Stelfreeze sketch, some Adam Hughes sketches here, which are always amazing. And so yeah, cool. It was like kind of a cool find. They have a couple interviews with the creators, and then these, like, a lot of these guys, yeah, were in Gaijin. There's some Adam Hughes work right there. Beautiful. So that was cool. It was a cool find. You wouldn't expect to find that in any bookstore, to be honest. I didn't even know it existed. And so I think it was like $6 that I got it for. Pretty neat. All right. Let's see. Homegirl's anatomy confused me a bit. Why is the back of her thigh so sharp? Oh, it's a Brian Stelfreeze thing for sure. Like he would... If Adam Hughes was the round, organic, luscious, like beautiful organic line, Brian Stelfreeze was almost the counter to that, where it was like a hard graphic line. If you look at the illustrator, so I would equate like Adam Hughes, if you had to equate him to an old master, I would equate him to like Norman Rockwell, like that kind of like super appealing humor, great expressions, awesome rendering. He's like Norman Rockwell. And Stelfreeze, I would equate to like J.C. Leyendecker. Look him up as an artist. He had like he was a contemporary with Rockwell, if I'm not mistaken, but he had a very hard graphic edge to his stuff. So yeah, that's that. It's just a stylistic thing, but I don't know. I love it. I think it's awesome. That peak in the back of her thighs. You guys, he just pushed it. He pushed it. Everybody's passing away. Such a little time with people. I know. It's sad. People have that, especially if you work out. I have this muscle. Don't you guys have this? That knife muscle? Everybody has that. A sharp peak like a mountaintop. I worked out lots for years. Never had a sharp point. Oh my gosh. Hello. MO's mom. No worries on the missed pencils, Rocky. I just told her how great they look. Is she there, Mark? Mark's mom, are you there? Here they are. Here you go. Aren't those awesome, Mark's mom? So cool. I just love how pencils... There's so much communicated in the pencil drawings. And then when you ink them, how you lay down those inks, those marks you make can communicate something, add to that communication too, and that style too. There's so much artistry that goes into comics. When they're done right too, there's so much artistry, so much hand touching of stuff. Even the artists today that are like the super computery artists, that stuff doesn't appeal to me as much as looking at this stuff. Anyway, here are the pencils. Hope you liked it. All right, let's see. Woo, we still got a lot to go for. Everybody's saying hello. Hi, Mark's mom. I love those blacks and details. She says, hey to everybody. Artists seem to have the most chaotic demons. We did have Van. Yeah. And Adolf. Yeah, Hitler. Yeah. Definitely demons. Knife muscle. Yep. Okay, we did the ride. All right, so let's get to this week's haul. Remember I was talking about Union Jack last time? Well, Union Jack 3 came out already. This is the end of the series. And it was hard to find. I actually had to go to 2 stores to find this one because from what I heard, Union Jack as a C-level character or whatever, not that popular, so people aren't buying huge amount of issues of Union Jack the Ripper. And I don't blame them, but I read the first 2 issues and they've been enjoyable. They're really cool. Crazy. And I'm digging the style. I'm digging the art. The plot is cool, you know, like it's a small enough story and it makes Union Jack interesting. He's not so one note. This is crazy. I mentioned this, I think, when we were talking about Union Jack 1 and 2. Like there is a Mignola vibe to, like, this artist must be looking at Mignola's stuff, but it's okay. It's cool. Love it. I love his Union Jack. I think that makes cool. And this character who Union Jack was kind of keeping prisoner. I haven't read this issue, but he used to be a character that was turned to the vampire side. And I think he was a friend of Union Jack. And so he's keeping him alive. He's got these crazy spikes coming out of his eyes. Messed up. Totally messed up design. But yeah, this is messed up. When I got this issue at Frank's shop, Amazing Fantasy. And I was like, "Oh, do you have a copy of Union Jack?" And he's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really enjoying it. I really enjoyed the first 2 issues." He's like, "It's pretty graphic." And I'm like, "Am I so numb to it?" I mean, it is. It definitely is. Yeah, this is pretty messed up. Can't get more graphic than that. But it's cool. It's fun. And it was only 3 issues, so hey, oh, I guess he just lost his friend. Spoiler alert. So yeah, I had to finish it off. I was pleasantly surprised by the first 2 issues, so had to pick up this 3rd issue to finish it off. Union Jack the Ripper. I don't know what is the plan with this character after this series, but hopefully they do more with him because he's cool. It gives him something different than what he was initially. Union Jack. All right. Here we go. This is a interesting one. I just finished reading this one this morning. X-Men #1. A new beginning. How many times have we had a new beginning for X-Men? Well, they're doing a whole revamp now called From the Ashes, where they're releasing new #1s out of a lot of them. They talk about it in the back. To be honest, I fell out of... I grew up on the X-Men. Some of my favorite books. You guys know from some of my previous streams talking about X-Men stuff with my buddies, Fred and a Tick, which I should try and do another stream with them. Thank you for reminding me. And so I love the X-Men. They were my favorite book growing up. Then I stopped really reading comics for a while, and I really lost track of what happened, and it got crazy. I totally lost track of anything and who's what and what's going on. So now trying to get back in, and I've never really had an entry point to get back into the current storyline. Every time I've tried, it's like there's been some cool stuff, but I haven't really got hooked back into it just because it's so different. Oh, hang on a second. Let me just reply to a text. So yeah, it's been hard. It's kind of sad too, because since it is one of my favorite books, to not be connected to it so much. I just end up reading all the old stuff over again and revisiting it, instead of trying to get into new stuff. So when they said they were doing a new X-Men #1, I was like, okay, maybe this is the time to get back into it, maybe. And they have some characters I recognize. I recognize Juggernaut. He's changed, obviously. He's not a villain anymore, I guess. Beast I recognize. Cyclops, Magic. I'm assuming this is Psylocke. No idea who this pink dude is. This is Caliban, maybe? No idea who this icy red blue girl is. So I was like, okay, well, I will give it a shot. Issue 1, I'm willing to give anything a shot. Penciler is Ryan Stegman. He's a good artist. I've seen some of his work before. Can't recall off the top of my head what he's done before, but I have seen his art before and I liked it. And so yeah, I was willing to give it a shot. So I read it, and I know there's all this stuff that happened with probably Cranberry Langers might have. I think he knows more about this stuff. At least this series than I do. The previous series, like the Krakoa stuff, all that kind of storyline. I feel like you need to know that backstory to kind of understand what's going on here. And so the writer, Jed MacKay, tries to explain some of that stuff in the dialogue, but it gets so weighty, over-explainy. As I was reading this, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't really know what's going on. So there's that. Like it just got so verbose. Like going from that Kraven the Hunter stuff where there's like some pages had zero dialogue or just like two words and you were like in on the story to like, oh, the blah 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 that happened in Krakow, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't really. And then getting thrown into it with these characters that I knew from the past but are now different. Yeah, it was a little tough. It was a little tough to swallow. And it's also weird because as much as I like Ryan Stegman's art, which is great, it's cool, it's fun, dynamic, stylized, I do feel like the characters' ages were a little off for me considering how far down the timeline we are. Like Beast should be way older than this. This is actually kind of a cool Beast, but he should be way older than this in my mind. And for sure, Cyclops should not look like he's. I'll get to another panel of him. He should not look like he's like 24. Like that's what it feels like to me. So, so yeah, that was kind of a weird disconnect. This girl, she's like, her name's Temper, cool name. She's got, from my understanding, fire on one half and ice on another half. She's like replacing Iceman, it feels like, and then throwing in the Human Torch. Okay. This character here, and again, I'm speaking totally naive of any of the past or history of the story. This character, Kid Omega, I don't like this character at all, pretty much because the design does not, feels very, is a guy, I think. And he used to date this girl. So, okay, but I don't know. I feel like his design's just a mess. I don't like Psylocke's design at all. I love the Jim Lee Psylocke. Juggernaut with a big X on his face is cool. But then I didn't understand his relationship with the team or Cyclops in particular. He sounded like he was a young kid, so maybe he's a totally different person and not Kane Marco, who is the Juggernaut I remember. Because I remember at one point Colossus became Juggernaut, I think. I don't know. See how lost I am? Let's see. Maybe you guys can help me. Well, that was really done well. That looks very entertaining. Looks worth a few bucks. I think you're talking about the ride. When I think of graphic nowadays, my brain goes to porn more than violence. Yeah, and actually sorry, I know, going totally, trying to catch up to you guys' subject. When I say graphic, a lot of times when I'm talking about graphic stuff in comic book art, it's more like the use of blacks and the stylization of and simplification of things down to almost an iconic or shapes, right? So as opposed to like it's so graphic that it's showing everything. Like usually when I say graphic, that's what I mean. Is that a Lego spider? Oh, sorry, I missed it. I've been in and out of comics in my life also. Still have about 4 long boxes full, but I've sold or traded the rest over the years. Kept some treasured books. It is... Yeah, many X-Men were killed of and replaced with cyborgs with plant skins, I believe. Plant-created versions of... Gosh. So they're actually dead. All right. Kid Omega is a guy and he's been around for about 20 years. And yet he looks like he's 16. So my understanding is he's like one of the most powerful telekinetics out there, which who isn't in the X-Men universe? Usually everybody is the most powerful. But yeah, I'm not digging his design at all, really. These colors were interesting here. Like this is a classic reference to the Mark Silvestri drawing of Wolverine like nailed to a cross. It was like a cover of X-Men. Oof, what number was that? 200 something. 230 maybe? 230 something. But he went so stylized in these colors and then back into quote unquote realism in these colors that I was like, wait, is that Beast? No, that's not Beast. It's just blue lighting. So yeah, I got a little confused there. I mean, the artwork's cool. But yeah. So yeah, there's kind of this whole story. They're trying to rescue Wolverine, and they're also establishing a new like headquarters or Utopia for the mutants because they lost Krakoa. This is the character Zorn. Here's Magneto. But is this really Magneto? Is this the Magneto we know? Or is this a different... Is this a plant-based Magneto, Cranberry? I don't know. It's all confusing. But they're doing a bunch of number ones. X-Men number one. They're doing an Uncanny X-Men number one. Wolverine number one. X-Factor number one. So, yeah, they're kind of starting all over again. And yet, not. Will I pick up an issue 2 is a question. I think so. And if I don't click with an issue 2, I'll probably stop. But the artwork was cool enough that I kind of wanted to know what was happening next, kind of. But I will drop off of it quick if I start losing myself in the story. But I did want to pick up issue 1. Like I said, I'll give anything a shot at the beginning. He's an Omega level mutant with Jean Grey's power set. Yeah, that's right. He's antagonistic towards Wolverine, has been a bad guy many times. He's Yeah, okay, got it. And so is his hair. First page with that kid, that is a Lego with spider legs on his hand. First page with that kid. On this book? Oh, on Union Jack? Sorry, emo trash. I missed it. I'm sorry. Oh! This! Yes. So they're just talking about like the Spider-Verse in Lego. And so the connection being like, hey kids, Spider-Verse and Lego. You get bit by a spider that looks like a Lego. You can be like that. I don't know. That's a stretch. I tried to make it work. It's a stretch. Okay. Let me... Oh, hold on. Another message. Okay. Josh Book. What the heck? Welcome, Josh Book. Old friend of mine. Used to work together. Josh Book is a incredible director, animator, 3D animator. Yeah, we used to work together. How you doing, man? And a lover of comics by far. How are you doing? I hope you're doing good. Hope your family is doing well. Long time no see, dude. How did you find this live? I didn't even know you knew about this. It's good to see. Well, I'm not seeing you, but I wouldn't be able to see. Josh would not fit on camera. He is so tall, this guy. He's so tall. But good to see you. Say hello to Josh Book, everybody. He's a buddy of mine. Kid Omega was introduced around the time they introduced Cyclops to being an adulterer with him. Okay, see, I was totally out of all of that stuff. So I don't know if it's futile for me to try and jump back in because I've been so out of it. I don't know. I'm happy to just read the old stuff. Because it's so good. The old stuff is just really good. And I almost feel like, I don't know, maybe it was just because that's what I grew up with. Probably. But I almost feel like coming cold, just reading those stories, you kind of get... You understand what's going on. I mean, I was trying to think, like, was Chris Claremont one of my favorite X-Men writers? Did he have so much exposition in his books where he was explaining all this, like, technicality? Sometimes he did, but I felt like it was a lot more accessible than what I was reading in that book. Cranberry Lander says, I don't know. I don't give a crap about new X-Men Marvel stories. It's a bunch of... Or there's that route. In my opinion, good art. I'll grant you that. Okay, good. Go back there. Yeah, I got it. Okay, great to see you. Josh laughing. All right, cool. Check this out. This one was I didn't know this one was coming out. It's a one-shot, so just one issue. And it's part of the Blood Hunt universe, which I've been here and there picking up some stuff. But the reason why I picked up this one was because that artist, Danny Earls... I've talked about him on my stream before. He was, if you guys recall, he used to be a professional footballer or soccer player in, I want to say the UK. And his dream, once he retired, his dream was to become a comic book artist. So he just busted his tail and just drew and 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 just submissions. And he is now a comic book artist. And so I follow him on social media. He talks about it all the time. He's so grateful for his career, and just as it just sounds like he's just such a true fan that he's just realizing his dream. And I love his stuff. Like, I love kind of what he brings to the table and how hard he works. I think even if he sucked as an artist, I just love his passion and his story. But he doesn't. He's actually really good. So I had picked up some of the Incredible Hulk issues that he did in the regular series, and then he also did a short story in one of those like black, white, and red anthology books. Was it a vampire one? Was it an aliens one? Maybe it was an aliens one. I reviewed it once on my stream. And then I saw that he did this one shot. So I was like, okay, cool. He seems to really love Incredible Hulk. So, and the thing that he brings to it is this kind of horror vibe a little bit to it. But I just love his approach. I love his environments. He's really good at drawing environments, which a lot of new artists tend to focus on characters. And so I love that he does both and that he pays attention to environments a lot. He seems to love it. Like, just look at that stuff. So yeah, he's just got a cool style and just works his tail off, and he's just hustling like no other. So, and every issue that he works on of different stuff, he just gets better and better. So I was happy to pick this book up, not even knowing anything about it. But yeah, here comes the horror vibe that he is injecting into the Hulk. So we don't even see any of the Hulk up to this point. Seems like this like Western story. But cool. Who's the colorist on this? Matthew Wilson. Okay. I've heard of him before. That's cool. It works with his style. I know that Danny Earls uses some washes too in his work, in his black and white work. So when artists do that, for them to be paired up with the right colorist who knows how to handle that and work with that and enhance that, it's not easy. So it's great to see when somebody does. I know Tim Sale was like that. Tim Sale did Long Halloween, and I just recently read a Catwoman book, a Catwoman story. I think it was called Catwoman and When in Rome, maybe. But he did a lot of color, toned gray washes in that work. And then the color artist, oh gosh, why am I blanking on his name? He's one of the greatest color artists. Oh my gosh. I gotta find out who this is. Dave Stewart. Ah, jeez. Why can I remember? Dave Stewart's one of the best colors. So like in the hands of a master colorist, just as an example. So Tim Sale, like here's his ink, if you can see, here's his like tone work here, ink wash tone work here. And then this is what Dave Stewart did with the colors on it. Like, that's brilliant. There's a page in here, like you can see it here, like these tones, but just how nice those colors work with those tones. Oops. There's a page in here. Ah, this one, I love this page. Like there's a lot of tone work going here, a lot of mood in the ink wash that Tim Sale did in the black and white drawing, but then for Dave Stewart to know what to do with the colors to enhance that is awesome. So I feel the same way with Danny Earl's work. He does use a lot of tone work and washes in his finishes, and so pairing him up with the right colorists is pretty imperative. That's messed up. There ain't nothing more disturbing than character without a nose. So yeah, he does this stuff. Like he definitely loves like horror films, like transformations. He's done this a number of times in Hulk, and he likes to make the transformation pretty crazy. It's cool. It's fun. It's cool that it's a one shot too. I love these. I love the use of blues here. They say so there's greens right for Hulk, obviously, but like these blue and purple reflective lighting here. That's nice. That's a nice touch. I always talk. Sometimes I talk about artists that have like a hair game, like they're good at drawing like hairstyles, and they like make them all cool. Like Will Spertaccio does it, Travis Charest does it. But this is awesome. This looks like Hulk just woke up out of bed. That's the hair. That's what my hair looks like when I get out of bed. Yeah, I like the colors in this book. It's pretty cool. Pretty nice. Nice. Good on you, Danny. Good stuff. I like it. I don't know what the story is, but I like it. And this is a different artist. This is Nick Klein. He's awesome. He's really good. He does he's the regular artist on Incredible Hulk. That's frightening. All right. There we go. Incredible Hulk Blood Hunt. One shot. All right, let's see. Let me catch up. Cranberry saying hey to Josh. Can't see any of your comments. Oh no, really? Why not? Why not? Is it oh, weird. Josh, are you watching this through? Oh, I see now. There's a little icon and he's watching it through X. Whoa, that's cool. So I can see your comments on Ecamm through X. That there's a little X icon next to your name, Josh. So Josh is watching on X, I guess, and commenting on X. So that's why nobody can see his comments. So I'll throw them up. Yeah, I'll throw them up here. Can't see in your comments. Whoa, that looks gorgeous, that Hulk, the design and colors. Emo, crazy. The only reason I'm into art now is because I absolutely hated one of my classes in 4th grade, and doodling was the only way I could quietly roll. Everybody gets into art differently, and there's different paths. So, that's cool. Whatever it takes, right? Mr. Monkey Boy 1969. Hey, what's going on, man? How are you doing? Everybody's saying hello. Well, okay, let's see. Comrade Sammy, great. What's even more ironic is that it was a history class. And you love history, so there you go. What platform is it on? I think everybody else is. Oh wait, yeah, we're on YouTube. I mean, I set this up on YouTube, but I know it's simultaneously streaming on X too. So it's cool. You're my first person that is commenting through X on a stream that I've had. So there you go, Josh Book. That's cool. It's cool that it shows too. And then John Coleman from YouTube showing up here too, right? I mean, on X. Wait, I'm confused. I know John Coleman. I've seen you on X. You've interacted with me before on X. So now he's commenting on X. Okay, hang on 1 second. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta close the door. Okay, I just had to close the door because some people just came home. My kids just came home. Did you see my comment on X? Oh, shoot. Hang on. You guys are trying to I can barely keep it together on one platform, and now I got to handle two? Oh, okay, I got it, Mark. You're always reposting for me on X. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Oh my gosh. General Piggy also reposted. Nice. Thank you, General Piggy, wherever you are. Now Josh is on YouTube and I can see all the comments. Oh, okay. And you guys can see his comments now, hopefully. What's up, everybody? Everybody's now they're like, oh, this guy, here he is. Okay, cool. Technically, I believe someone else has before. Really? I don't remember. Maybe I didn't notice it. I just now noticed these little icons in the corner on Ecamm that show what platform the person's viewing on. So Josh has changed from the X icon to the YouTube icon now. So I can see it. It says there are 42 viewers on X. Wow, no kidding. I always wonder that. Like, are they really watching it, or is it just on somebody's, like, because sometimes when people are streaming live on X, it's at the top of my feed, even if I'm not watching. So I don't know if that means they're a viewer or it's just on their feed. But hey, 42 viewers, that's awesome. Yo, Josh Book, don't know him. Everybody's saying, see his what? I don't know. Okay, are you John Coleman, Mr. Monkey Boy? So many aliases. What is going on? All right. What am I doing? Okay, I got 3 more books here. 3 more books? Yes, 3 more books. Told you, a lot came in this week. All right, this one was the next one. You guys know I've been picking up this book, and I've been really enjoying this one. Saw the X on the first one of his comments you put up. Ah, okay. Did we? Oh, yeah, you guys can see it too. You can see it on the icon. You can see where they're coming from. There you go. Wow, you learn something new every day. You were John Coleman. Now I know it. At first I thought it was maybe you were John. But no, that would be too simple. I believe it counts views on X, not necessarily viewers. Yeah, there you go. And I think that's part of the... I know Shanth has noticed it, and I've actually noticed it myself, where the viewership will be a certain number, like right after you stream, and then a few days later it'll like reduce. I've started noticing that, and I think part of that might be it's like sifting through that stuff. I don't think it's throttling because of my political views, because I really don't talk about my political stuff or controversial views. I think it's just, from my understanding, just kind of sorting through like bots or people that are real viewers versus just views, like you're mentioning. So I think that's what happens. Like, yeah, it's 42 views on X right now, but it might only be 4 people watching for reels. So it kind of regulates that as the algorithm catches up to the live streams. See my jeez Louise. I'm going to look now. Did you reply? Are you just joking with me now? Oh boy. That title rings a bell. Okay, so Aint No Grave. Yes. I picked up issue 1 and 2 of this. This is that like fantasy Western series written by Scotty Young, who's an awesome artist to begin with. And the artwork is by Jorge Corona, who is also drawing... this is my other book, or one of the other books I'm talking about, is also took over the art reins on Transformers. I don't know how he's doing both books at the same time, because he's really good. And I don't know how he's doing both books at the same time, other than he probably banked one of them and it's just now coming out and they're just releasing at the same time. But yeah, he's a super good artist, and definitely has like a Euro feel to his work. And he's just getting better and better. I know he's worked with Scotty Young before. So yeah, his stuff's just getting better. Hello. We'll just put my fingers here just so nothing bad happens. But yeah, this has been a cool book. It's basically a fantasy Western focused on this character. Her name is... Dagnabbit. I forgot her name. But she's kind of like this bad, used to be a train robber kind of villain, and but then she settled down, got married, had a kid, and the way the story's set up in the first issue is somehow she lost her husband and her child. You don't know how, but she lost her family. So she's going back for revenge, and the ways that she wants to get them back is she is on a mission to kill death. So she goes to find him, and that's what it is. But the way they tell the story is it keeps flashing back to her past, her trying to go the straight and narrow and leave her shenanigans behind, but she still keeps getting pulled back into it. So there's a lot of regret. There's a lot of shoulda, coulda, wouldas. There's a lot of, family ties. She's now a mother and not just a crazy heist villain, or not villain, but like outlaw. And so yeah, there's that conflict, which is cool. It's a good setup. It all takes place in this crazy Western world. But as you can see, his artwork's awesome. Really good. A lot of flair. Nice colors. Nice character designs. That's great. The thing I do appreciate, at least in a lot of the first issue and some of the second issue, haven't looked through this issue yet, but the feel of the Western, Jorge Corona really captures it, because he'll do these like vistas, some panels that are just like the character riding off in the sunset, and like these long long shots of the environments, which feels very Western. Wait, is that one with the Grim Reaper that had yes, this is the one. I mean, there's been a number with the Grim Reaper with revolvers, but this one has the Grim Reaper in it, or Death in it. She's not the Grim Reaper, though. I love the colors in this book. I love more stylized colors than realistic colors. So yeah, I don't know what's going on, but she just went to the town where Death is, and is like this kind of stuff. This is beautiful. Really nice. The colorist is Jean-Francois Beaulieu. I think it's been the colors consistently through this series, and but he's really good. This was the other big book that Jorge Corona worked on with Scotty Wrong. I haven't read it, Middle West, but I think it is also kind of a Western. Oh, maybe not. But his artwork looked a lot different at least what I've seen, looked a lot different here than it does now. So, I guess that was the end. Yeah, like this is Middle West. I guess this was the end of that book right here. I mean, the end of this issue. It's a cool way to end it. Read me a story. Damn, should have stuck with a train robber. I know, right? Yeah, life choices here. Oops. Jorge's Venezuelan. Oh, okay, cool. South American, Venezuelan. Yeah, there's a lot of great artists coming from that. I can see that, actually. I can definitely see that. I think of South American like Humberto Ramos. Yeah, for sure. Has that same flair. I was right. Death has a revolver and the classic scythe. Oh, yeah, I think on the first issue, right? Maybe that's what you were talking about, the cover of the first issue. I think so. Boom, Ain't No Grave number 3. So that one's keeping me going. I like that one for sure. Good story, great art. Okay, sorry, just checking in here. Wow, those colors. Wow. Yep, good stuff. Okay, so this is a Daniel Warren Johnson cover. also the writer on this series. But Jorge Corona's doing this work too. Different colorist, Mike Spicer, another great colorist. He's always working with, or has worked with Daniel Warren Johnson on a lot of projects. I think they're good friends. So, but he's a great colorist. And it's funny because when you look at these pages, I wouldn't put two and two together and say, oh yeah, maybe it's because he's drawing robots and the other one's more human characters. But I wouldn't be like, oh yeah, it's the same artist, even though their styles aren't different. That's so interesting. I wonder if it's because of the colors or just what they're drawing, what Jorge Corona's drawing. But I love it. Transformers is one of the regular books I pick up right now, and I've been enjoying it a lot. I know they're kind of developing more of the secondary characters right now, like this guy, and I just blanked on his name, like Wheeljack and RC, and what is this guy's name? I don't remember. Tell me, my buddy, L Chung 79 Lang, what's up? Tell me, what's this character's name? Why am I blanking on his name? He knows. He has all the toys. It's going to come here. Is Jean-Francois doing art? He's doing colors. He did colors on the Ain't No Grave. Humberto Ramos is one of my favorites, if not my most favorite Spider-Man artist. Oh, awesome. Yeah, he's good. He's really good. And I heard he's a super, super nice guy. I've never met him, but he's really good. Corona is doing the artwork. Jean-Francois is doing the colors on Corona for Ain't No Grave. Great vistas, and again, the colors, the details. Yo, El Chung. Yo. CBLers? Beachcomber. Thank you. What is CBLers? Comic book lovers? Is that what it stands for? Nice. Yeah, Beachcomber. Yeah. It's cool because he has this connection with the girl in this, like, they have this tension between them because he wouldn't kill, was it Starscream? At one point he had the opportunity to kill Starscream and he didn't because he was like, this is not good. I'm not going to be violent like the Decepticons are. But she was really pissed off that he didn't kill him. So they have this tension now between them. And they're developing Shockwave to be more of a leader. Wow, this is awesome. Whew, that's cool. Cool stuff. Look at that. There we go. Beachcomber. Talking about Beachcomber. Let the harvest begin. It's good. He's a good artist, man. I don't know how he's doing both books. Did I tell you guys I got Scarlet too? It's pretty good. I'm going to keep getting Scarlet. I don't know how many more issues of Scarlet are. I'm going to keep picking that up. Destro I didn't pick up. Void Rivals, I'm waning a little bit on Void Rivals. But yeah, there we go. Transformers, still good. Good in my book. Oh, CBL. He wasn't talking to all of us. He was just talking to you. Gotcha. Cranberry Langer. Yeah. Got it. Nice. Starscream. Why does that name ring a bell? Oh, Transformers. Yes, Starscream. Classic character. The jungle panel with the birds has amazing color. Was that in the other book? Oh, this one. Yeah. It's really fresh. Spicer's a great colorist, and he works well with this style. I mean, really, like, it's not just good color theory. It's like, who is the right kind of person that can apply color to the specific kind of artist? And Jorge Corona is a specific kind of artist. He is in a similar vein as Daniel Warren Johnson himself, which is very inky, ink heavy, expressive, action packed, splattery kind of work. And so it takes a certain kind of colorist to be able to pair up with that. And I think because Mike Spicer has worked with Daniel Warren Johnson so much, he's probably he has been a great fit for Jorge Corona. And then you see the other artist, that Jean-Francois guy, also a great pairing with Jorge Corona's art, but in a different way. So it's fascinating, right? It's like so many different aspects go into the creation of comics and what makes a comic successful. And you can just see all these different chess pieces being put together, and they can have very different results if you just move one piece and replace it with another. Like I was talking about, here's a full circle moment. I was talking about with John Paul Leon's work, right? Like, he is arguably top tier comic book artist, from pen and ink comic book artist. But if you put the wrong colorist on his stuff, it can fall a little flat. So yeah, having that team in place really makes a world of a difference. All right. Woo. Been almost 2 hours. Last book, guys. Guess what? That Ghost Machine train keeps on rolling. We are at Geiger number 4. My goodness, my wallet can't keep up with these guys, but in a good way. They are, at least I'm not wasting my money on crappy books. Like, they are, I mean, that's the nice thing about, at least right now, there would be a time where there was maybe I'd say about 10-ish, 5-10 years ago, where I would walk into a comic book store and I would walk out with nothing, because nothing grabbed my attention. And at least now, I don't know if it's just because I have this YouTube channel or what, at least now I'm walking in and kind of walking out with something. Sometimes more than one something, but at least there's quality stuff being put out there. And I'd argue the most stuff that I pick up is, I mean, I don't know if you would consider Transformers. Is that considered mainstream? I don't know. Is that a mainstream? It's not an independent, but yeah, I guess it is mainstream. It's a $1 billion franchise. But it's not like Marvel, DC mainstream, right? So I think, and Ghost Machine definitely is not mainstream. So I love that there's more options out there. There's more opportunities out there. And yeah, just other things that are getting me excited about it. Like, I'm rarely picking up a Batman book or a Superman book, or, I mean, I did pick up an X-Men book, but like, that stuff is not as exciting to me as like these newer characters and newer stories. So it's cool. Oh, wow. I'm really behind now. Starscream, Jungle Panel, Unconfused. Hey, K-pop, how are you? Good seeing ya. K-pop's in the house, everybody. Jeremy Burtz, what's up, man? How you doing? How's it going? Where'd you come from? Good to see you. This is talking about comics I picked up on Wednesday, but I'm on a Friday because I couldn't do it on Wednesday. So we're just wrapping it up here as far as the books I picked up, but there was quite a bit if you rewatch later. But thank you for coming. You sound like John Cranberry. Pipe down, come back. Did you run away? I already have one person hang out. Pipe down. Hello, Jeremy Burt. Nag, nag, nag. I'm my K-pop saying hello. Oh, you were streaming just now? How funny. My gosh, the hits don't stop with the K-pop. You are a streaming machine. And napping. Were you streaming and napping at the same time? I've seen that done before. A little disturbing. Not you, but I've seen that done before. Love the colors. John is my brother, so that makes sense. Spiritual brothers. Means I'll get Geiger next week. Awesome. Is this a regular one? I can't remember. I think you had mentioned this before, Mr. Monkey Boy, that it was a regular was a regular book. I think you get your books online though, right? Yeah, so Red Coat, Geiger, and then I'm assuming there's going to be a new Rook Exodus coming out very shortly. Good stuff. Oh yeah, that's right. So this guy showed up in at the end of the last issue, and I don't know if he killed Geiger's dog or not, but he does not seem like a good dude. The old I'm gonna leave you a piece of a piece of your friend to tell you that I mean business trick, and he does not seem very happy. It's cool. His power's cool. Like I definitely out of like indie characters or new characters, Geiger as a superhuman character stands out for me because there's something about the glowing skeleton, but just like how it's activated with these two rods and just that superpower it's really cool. It's a cool idea. Oh my goodness. Sounds like this is gonna be a like, yep. This is gonna be like a slaughter fest. It's great. Again, another great colorist here, Brad Anderson. He's working on all the Ghost Machine books. He's you guys can't even see with the glare. There's Geiger in the middle of it. Oh, so I guess looks like he like expended his radiation energy here, and then he's vulnerable. He gets rolled over by a bus. Wow, this is messed up. It's cool. Great action staging. This guy's gonna die. He's the guy who's like Geiger's sidekick right now. Like Geiger doesn't like him at all, but he just kind of tags around, and he's like the bumbling dude in a knight's outfit, like likable. I have a feeling he's gonna die, and it's gonna set Geiger off. That's awesome. Okay, so he didn't die. He's either gonna die or he's gonna betray Geiger at the end, is my guess. Now this guy, here he comes. Dun dun dun. Pretty cool. It's a good story. It makes me want so there was a Geiger limited series that was put out before they made the huge Ghost Machine launch. It was like it came out and people were like, "Oh, what's this?" And I never read it, but it's in compilation now. So I might look through that and see what it is. Like where does it take place before all that's happening now in this regular series or what? Pretty cool. Rook Exodus. Wait. I have 4. I think let me just check. I just want to check where I'm at with the other ones. Usually, yeah. 2, 3, 1, 2. Yeah. Hold on, 1, 2. Geiger. 1, 2. Wait a minute. Oh yeah, Rook Exodus 3. That's right. That was the latest one. And Red Coat 3. Okay, so that's where I was. We're at number 3. This is 4. Geiger's 4. So usually it goes Geiger, Red Coat, Rook Exodus is the order. So this is the first one. That's number 4. It's good stuff. I mean, it's been months now, right? So I would definitely recommend as a regular series to get into Transformers, Geiger, uh, Ain't No Grave. These are all the books I picked up. Incredible Hulk. Oh, this one. Look at this. I got a lot of stuff. Shoot. I gotta start making money to buy this stuff. I mean, like, one for one, something that I create, a comic that I create to afford buying more comics like this. Too much stuff. It's really crazy. Okay, let's see. Where are we? Where on earth is John? Where is he? We're all worried now. This is going from a point of like concern to now I mean, not concern, like questioning of where John is to now concern. I have fallen asleep on many. You have. Some of those streams go late, really late. I don't know how people can stream for like 6+ hours sometimes. I would fall asleep. But I guess if you have multiple people, then it's better. But I don't know. Transformers is mainstream like Doctor Who comics. Are Doctor Who comics mainstream? I don't know. I'd have to debate you on that one. I don't know. Doctor Who comics feel kind of niche to me. Doctor Who seems very niche to me. Hi, Trash. He's with Carmen Sandiego. That's where John is. Thanks all. Gotta head out. Have a great weekend and read lots of comics. Thanks, Lang. I'll be seeing you around, man. I haven't seen you in a while. We'll hang out. It happens. This week is all out of whack. It is, especially since I'm streaming on a Friday for a Wednesday comic. So it is a little bit out of whack for me. Another hour. What? I could. No, I can't. You also read many comics, Lang. Everybody's saying bye. I might need to nap hardcore this weekend. Do it. You have my permission to nap this weekend. Geiger had a dog. He did. He had a 2-headed dog, like a radiated dog. And he seemed to really, he got it as a puppy. It was in one of the issues. He had it as a puppy. It was really cute. So it's kind of sad that he's getting tortured now by that bad guy. Is that medieval armor? Yes. Yes to both, I believe. Were you not here when we went over Geiger before, Emo Trash? He's going to absorb all of Geiger's radiation and become the new... Maybe. I think he's kind of like he's without a purpose, and then he just saw Geiger has so much purpose and he latched onto it. He's like the sidekick to Don Quixote a little bit. Pancho Villa, was that guy's name? You guys, what gives? I thought we were friends, Mr. Monkey Boy. You guys starting a fight. I saw John this morning, Jeremy Bird says. He's around. He's the ninja right now. He's not showing up. John, maybe they are hanging out together. I think that's what happened. He left for dinner. Now it's almost like you guys know all of John's like schedule. That's amazing. Mr. Monkey Boy had surgery on his hand. Really? What happened? Hopefully it's not your drawing hand. That would be horrible. I don't know what I would do if I had to have surgery on my hand. Any day works, just stream, just not late at night. Gotcha, Mark. You are in my mind when I think about times to stream. I'm like, can I catch Mark? He sleeps early. What? There he is. All right, awesome one. Where is John? We know you know where he is. Where is he? Awesome one is here, everybody. We can end the stream now. He made it. Is on time 2.5 hours after the start? It is for awesome one. It's good to see you, man. I'll take you 2.5 hours late. I'm going to go 2.5 hours more now that you're here. Oh my goodness. See, everybody's happy. Everybody's happy. Awesome one is here. Oh, you don't draw, Mr. Monkey Boy. Oh, okay. Well, then it doesn't matter what you got surgery. I'm just kidding. Hope your hand's all right. Hope it's not too serious. Is it like carpal or something? I hope not. Been waiting all week for Rocky to stream, and it's Friday night he streams. You know what? I'm sorry. I couldn't do it. I couldn't fit it in, but now I did. But now I gotta go soon. Pull an all-nighter. Yo, awesome one is here. All right, you guys. Anything else? You know what? I'm going to show, for those of you who just joined, K-pop, awesome one, Jeremy Burtz. Who else just joined? Mr. Monkey Boy, were you around when I showed it? I'm going to show the trailer for Kane's Comics, Dr. Kane's Comics, one more time. This was a place I visited over the weekend. Just finished this trailer yesterday. It's worth another show. Take a look at it, and we'll wrap up on the other side. There you go. Dr. Kane's Comics, for those of you who didn't see it the first time I played it. Once I get approval from the owner, I'll make that public on YouTube, so that can be part of the comic book store spotlights that I've done in the past. They're available. And then I'll start putting that in rotation before my streams. So, and then I'm going to be working on Captain Nemo's, which will be interesting to see. Like I said, that was a little bit of a incognito kind of filming. See if I have enough footage to make it interesting. I do. I think I do. So yeah, I'll put that together next. Just saw here, Mr. Monkey Boy says, yep, carpal tunnel. Ugh. Yeah, that's a bummer, dude. Sorry to hear that. I hope the surgery works out well for you, though. I've heard people that have had surgery that it helped a lot. So I hope that's the case for you. You did ask, what's this big project you jilted us for? You know what? I will share with you guys when it goes public. I was working with Alan Lau, who has showed up in my chat before. And yeah, we were working on something. So it will be public, I don't know, soon. But it's fun little side thing that we were working on, but we had to get a delivery out this week, and which we did. So, but yeah, I will let you guys know once it's public. because it's kind of a cool one to share. Go away, Rocky. Go do your real job or something. Enjoy your Thursday and Friday and weekend. Did I see My Little Pony in the corner there? Probably at that shop. Probably. Cool. Thanks. Josh is still here. Josh, it was really great for you to stop in. I hope to see you around more. We'll have to catch up again. We run into each other in the most random places. But I know your kids are getting older, as are mine, so I'd love to catch up with you just to see how life's going. Thank you, Cranberry Langers. Great stream, Rocky. Thanks for fitting in your week. Thank you so much for coming into my stream into your week, Mark's Music Obsession. Thanks for your mom showing up too. I hope she enjoyed it, and you have a great weekend with her. Enjoy the weather. A channel. You're staying your own. No, I'm not starting my own. That would be amazing if I was starting my own comic shop. You know what? Awesome one. I would keep streaming if I couldn't. If I didn't have a stopping point, I would keep streaming if I couldn't, just for you. You guys are hilarious. All right. I think that's it. That's all I got. I hope you guys have a great weekend. Like I said, it was nice streaming on a Friday because we catapult into the weekend. But yeah, go read some more comics. Go watch something cool. Inspire yourselves. Don't be out in the hot weather, but go do something fun, and we'll talk about it next time around. This is the package that I did not unbox, that I will unbox if I can't get in touch with the creator to come on my show, but I'll unbox it next week. If that happens, I mean, I will unbox it next week with or without getting that creator. So that's there. What else? There was something else that I was thinking of streaming. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'm just delaying. I'm going to let you guys go. Katie was first in the chat. I don't know if she's still awake, but she was first in the chat. So congratulations, Katie. We will see you guys around. Thanks, everybody. For those of you who aren't already or haven't already, please like the stream. Subscribe if you haven't. I would appreciate it. Truly appreciate it. I've got 241 subscribers. How about that? On our road to 250. Super exciting. We're going to get there. We're going to push forward, and we're going to get there. And then we'll go for 251. I don't know. Anyway, have a great day, guys. See you later. Thank you.